Good evening and thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with 2 teens in custody following a shooting on the Onion Lake First Nation early Sunday morning. One man is recovering in hospital after suffering a gunshot wound. He was rushed to hospital in serious but non-life-threatening condition. 18-year-old Tyron Stanley of Frog Lake and 19-year-old Joshua Dillon of Onion Lake are facing multiple charges, including aggravated assault and careless use of a firearm. Both the accused will make an appearance in court tomorrow. The investigation is still ongoing. Well, April is Speed Awareness Month. Lloydminster RCMP is reminding residents that even though the temperature is rising and the snow is clearing, drivers still need to travel with caution.
Even though it is nicer and it might be tempting to try and go places faster, just still obey the speed limits, slow down, and make sure that you're being aware of all the different things around you.
School zones are also an area of concern for the RCMP.
We want to make sure that we're protecting our students and the children of Lloydminster the best that we possibly can, making sure that people slow down, pay attention, watch for them at crosswalks or different things like that. Speed is a huge factor.
The RCMP add going the speed limit can not only reduce damage in the case of a car accident, but can also save a life. A busy Sunday for the Lloydminster Fire Department as they dealt with 2 fires inside the city, possibly pointing towards a dry spell over the next few weeks that will require plenty of observation when it comes to fire safety. Fire Chief Jordan Newton says people can take easy steps to prevent fires from breaking out, such as making sure cigarettes are discarded properly, and those operating off-road vehicles should pay attention when they start up the vehicle.
Any ATV that you may be operating, just be careful with your hot exhaust that you aren't starting any running fires behind you.
Newton says that those getting ready to barbecue should stick to the city's fire code.
So you have to use approved containers, burn dry seasoned wood, don't be burning your twigs or leaves, take them to our landfill site.
Newton says wildfire season will start to kick in once the warmer temperatures have taken care of remaining winter moisture. It'll soon be easier to check the city's finances. This after some councillors voiced their concerns around certain departments going over budget and the lack of in-depth resources to find out why.
It would be great to see everything broken down and all together so that you can make a logical, interpretation of it. Especially when you look at the accounts payables document, it's very hard to follow what's happening in each of the individual budget items. And unless you had it converted all to Excel and made it into some kind of pivot table, I don't know if it's possible to break down that information. And I would love to be able to do it.
Council being one of the departments going over budget in February, but the cost can be directly associated with their trip to the Saskatchewan Urban Municipalities Conference in Saskatoon. A necessary trip and money well spent, according to officials. But for accountability purposes, Councillor Torreson is looking for budget breakdowns.
It's possible to get an item-by-item breakdown of the entire budget, and then whether or not it's possible to get a comparison of actuals at some point during the year so that we can provide proper oversight.
According to administration, the new financial software will be online at the end of September. The 58% cut to public libraries in this year's Saskatchewan budget will affect our local libraries by a 10% cut of the funds it receives from the Lakeland Library region. Decisions on exactly where funding will disappear from for the remainder of the year have been made. 2 sectors will be disabled province-wide, and although Lloydminster has the advantage of receiving funding from Alberta, these cuts will affect the relationship with Saskatchewan libraries.
The first impact is that we've been advised that the various resource databases that the province subscribes to through what's called the multi-type database project will be discontinued. So that means things like online encyclopedias, car repair manuals, things like that.
However, the funding from the city itself, people will still be able to access online books, magazines, and newspapers. The second cut is to eliminate deliveries from the borrowing of materials outside of our region, effective April 10th.
You'll still be able to use other libraries, but if you go into Saskatoon or even to North Battleford, you'll be responsible for returning those books yourself.
For the rest of Saskatchewan, layoffs, less hours, and speed of services will take a significant hit as well. But as for Lloydminster's library, the regional libraries will continue to discuss what measures to take for the years after 2017. With the spring thaw well underway, many farmers across both provinces are gearing up to clear last year's unharvested crops. Brian Lentz has more on the options producers have and what steps they should take.
That's a sound you don't often hear at this time of year, but with more than 2 million acres of unharvested crops on the prairies, farmers will be looking to try anything to clear those fields.
I don't think there's one answer for how producers are going to manage these fields. I think every producer is going to have to look at each field separately and come up with a plan that works best for them.
In Alberta, the northwest, northeast, and Peace regions were the hardest hit, each with little more than 80% of last fall's crops in the bins. For Saskatchewan, the west central and northeast regions were the lowest at close to 90% combined. With much of the crop left in fields insured, Alberta crop specialist Mark Cutts says the first thing a farmer needs to do is contact their insurance provider.
It's important to talk to them just to make sure that you're not carrying out any field operations that are contrary to the policy recommendation from the insurance company.
The Agriculture Financial Services Corporation says the average for unharvested crops claims in Alberta is 23,000 acres, far below the 1 million claimed last fall.
We're planning to bring up adjusters specifically from the south area of the province where the unharvested acres isn't an issue, and with that to assist us in the north central Alberta with completing the claims in a timely manner.
Smith adds he understands if farmers don't have time to wait for a crop inspection when trying to clear their fields.
If they can leave us those representative samples that we can go out and put that yield on after. So we don't want to hold them up in completing their work or completing the things that need to be done.
If combining last year's crop is not possible, farmers have other options they can pursue, with burning the crop off being a last resort.
Anything from baling that material up to remove it off the field. They could look at maybe even coming with something like a silage chopper just to chop that material and either collect it or just spread it in the field.
Brian Lentz, Newcap News.
In recent years, Saskatchewan bodybuilding has taken a massive leap forward. From an influx of new gyms to new competitors and bodybuilding shows, the sport is booming. A local gym owner is back in the bodybuilding game, and Lance Phillips brings us the first of a 6-part Newcap original, The Road to Saba, following Renee Weinkoff's pursuit of provincial gold this May.
My name is Renee Weinkoff, owner of World Class Training Nutrition. Been a personal trainer for 14 years now. 44 days out from winning my first show. The show we're entering is called SABA. The league is SABA, Saskatchewan Bodybuilding Association. It's an amazing league. When I started with them about 10 years ago, it was kind of a small, quiet league, and now it's blown apart. It's Saskatchewan has come alive in bodybuilding. We're actually pretty proud, and we're actually taking over Canada. I'm feeling very positive. The training has been going insane. I have an awesome group of people around me. No matter if I'm doing cardio or if I'm doing a workout, I've always got somebody beside me, pushing me. The hardest part is to do this on your own. But when you got a good supportive team like we have here at World Class right now, it's awesome. "99% of my clients are weight loss. But a lot of people have been coming to me for the last year to help them get on stage. And I've done 4 shows, so I know what I'm doing.
He's a really good coach, a trainer, and he has a passion for it. He sees this as the one thing he loves and enjoys to do. And he not only likes it for himself, but he spread it to other people, right?
Since my last show, there's been a new category brought into the bodybuilding world, which is called classic physique. It's kind of when you look back at bodybuilding and you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, when you think of Schwarzenegger, how he had the big wide back and the small waist. But then if you look at new bodybuilding, the monsters that are on stage, they look like a fridge. I didn't find that I fit into that category anymore. I mean, now that I got back into the fitness industry here, it does give me a little more hope on actually furthering my career as a bodybuilder. I mean, I love it. I love those big guys. They play a massive role, and I got so many friends that are these huge guys, but it ain't gonna be me. That's why I fit so well in this category, is that I am very well proportioned. If you just go up there and you're this guy with big legs, or if you're this guy with biceps, you're not gonna win the show. It has nothing to do with that. This has to be a tied-in, beautiful, molded piece. Say Monday's chest day, Tuesday's hamstring day. So set by set by set by set, every day set for one lot of muscle, where now I'm usually doing 2 or 3 muscle groups a day. Every third day, you're almost doing the same muscles again. So instead of having just a chest day or a leg day or a back day, now it's 2 or 3 muscle groups together at once. It's more or less to just keep them full, all your muscles full, hit a high intensity workout in, burn an extra few calories to help with the weight loss, and to just harden everything up. That's the last process here.
I see a driven, focused, determined person, and he's very confident and sure of himself.